Patriotic Nigerians and our friends honored today have distinguished themselves in various ways for the purpose of creating a new Nigeria of our dreams.
Place on the medal, Nigeria honors her best.
We have so many young innovators that are making us proud.
Nigeria shines at the global stage, making breakthroughs at ongoing GITEX in Dubai.
Our aim and goal is to make sure that no child sleeps with hunger, and we also help the children not to suffer from malnutrition.
Daring to end health challenges for mother and child, African First Ladies meet in Burundi. Hello and welcome to NTA Network News. I am Ian Ray John, live in Abuja. Adiola Komiokere joins me from Lagos. Thank you for joining us. And just a quick reminder that you can follow this news broadcast live on our website, nd.ng/live, and all our social media platforms displayed on the screen for updates. We begin tonight by saying congratulations to 447 deserving Nigerians and foreigners who distinguished themselves in the service of the nation and humanity and were formally recognized and rewarded with Nigeria's National Honors Awards. Amongst the recipients is Imam Abdullahi Abubakar, a Muslim cleric in Plateau State who put his life on the line to save 262 Christians from the jaws of death. President Muhammadu Buhari, who decorated the awardees with jet titles of honor, used the opportunity to renew his commitment to handing over Nigeria that is free of insecurity to the next generation of political leaders. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo feeds us.
Out of the 447 awardees, 6 received the second highest national honor of Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger, GCON, amongst them Senate President Ahmed Lawan. Speaker Femi Jabia Mila and 54 others received the Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic. 65 were awarded CON, 77 OFR, 110 OON, 74 including Imam Abdullahi Abubakar, popularly referred to as the life-saving angel, got MFR, 55 MON, while 8 received Federal Republic medals. President Muhammadu Buhari, who virtually stood for more than 4 hours to perform the investiture ceremony, noted that nation building involves a lot of sacrifice, and therefore citizens who contributed to the development and progress of Nigeria deserve to be encouraged and appreciated.
The patriotic Nigerians and our friends honored today have distinguished themselves in various ways for the purpose of creating a new Nigeria of our dreams through respect for the rule of law, image laundering, transparency, and accountability in management of scarce resources. Equally, those in private sector have also creditably discharged themselves in business, entertainment, hospitality, transportation, and other forms of human endeavors to transform Nigeria.
To the non-Nigerian recipients in particular, the President assured them that his administration will continue to provide the enabling environment for them to sustain efforts at contributing to national development.
This administration will continue to partner with Nigerians and friends of Nigeria with like minds in our effort to build the Nigeria of our dream, where everybody will strive to excel in their chosen fields, devoid of parochial sentiments. Let me appeal to other Nigerians who are yet to receive this recognition to be patient and understand that their efforts in nation building are appreciated and at the right time will similarly be recognized.
President Buhari, without mincing words, reassured Nigerians that all forms of crime and criminality, including banditry, terrorism and insurgency, will be rooted out by his administration.
As I stated earlier in my independent address to the nation, I will hand over a Nigeria that is free from insecurity to the next generation of leaders.
Senate President Ahmed Lawan, who responded on behalf of the award recipients, described the honor done to them as a renewed call to duty, as well as an invitation to the realization that citizens' efforts to national development will never be in vain.
We are all well-meaning and ready to sustain our contribution, be sacrificial in our outlooks, and to be good examples in what we do for the evolution of a virile nation. So help us, God.
It is important to emphasize that holders of the national honors are expected at all times live above board by maintaining the high moral standards and excellence upon which this honor conferred.
5,341 nationals and non-nationals have so far been conferred with Nigeria's National Honors Awards since inception in 1963. In Abuja, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the National Award was established by the National Honors Act No. 5 of 1964, and it empowers the President to honor deserving citizens who have contributed to the development and progress of the country in any field of human endeavor. Mutare Ikman tells us more about the essence of the National Honors Awards.
To be distinguished for recognition at the national level is no small feat. The national honors, highest awards a citizen can receive from his or her country for selfless service to fatherland. Set of orders and decorations conferred upon Nigerians and friends of Nigeria for exemplary leadership in government and private sectors, contributions to socio-economic development, promotion of good governance, contribution to peace and security, bravery, among other considerations.
I believe what comes with the national honor is great dignity, and you become a trustee and a conscience of the nation.
It means that your country has appreciated what you have done for it. And like Kennedy said, always ask what
The national honors can only be presented personally by the President to deserving citizens, and beyond the national recognition and prestige it confers on the recipients, it also comes with a moral burden and responsibility to be above board in continued service to the nation and humanity.
We are here representing a lot of health workers that work in the states, in the local government areas, in the communities.
I see it as a collective success of the entire staff that work along with me.
For this year's National Honors Awards, more than 5,000 nominations were thoroughly scrutinized by the National Honors Awards Committee before 447 recipients, including 7 foreigners and friends of Nigeria, were selected and approved by the President.
For me, I'm particularly excited. There's a double celebration for me because I'm 60 years old today, and being given this honor is the greatest birthday gift I could have had from Mr. President and my country, Nigeria.
I think this is a kind of moral booster for me. It will make me to do more to serve the nation and serve humanity.
And channel more value to nation development and the continent in general.
We do appreciate what Mr. President has done. We're very grateful for him, and it's something that we'll continue to cherish for many years to come.
Since inception, 14 heads of state and presidents have received the highest honor of Grand Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, GCFR, while a total of 5,341 persons have been conferred with the national honors. For many recipients, the national honors are not mere decorations, but medals of commitment to greater service. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikmen, NTA News.
In other news, religious leaders in Nigeria must remain open while making efforts to unite people, regardless of their faith, social backgrounds, and political differences. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo stated this when he received an audience delegation from the Methodist Church of Nigeria, led by its prelate-elect, Most Reverend Oliver Ali Abba. The delegation came to brief the Vice President on the forthcoming investiture of the prelate-elect next month in Lagos. The prelate-elect was accompanied by the immediate past governor of Bauchi State, Barrister Muhammad Abubakar, who is part of the planning of the investiture. Vice President Oshibajo expressed his support for the incoming Methodist leader at all times as he takes on the office of the prelate next month. On his part, the prelate-elect, the Most Reverend Abba, who hails from Benue State, praised the Buhari administration for all it has achieved, saying the federal government under President Muhammadu Buhari has been delivering democracy dividends. He also commended the efforts and commitment of the Vice President to the development of society, describing him as the father of Christians in Nigeria, in his capacity as a Vice President being the highest-ranking Christian office holder in government. Now heading to the National Assembly, the House of Representatives will commence debate on the 2023 Appropriation Bill this Wednesday, which was laid less than a week ago by President Buhari. The Deputy Speaker, Ahmed Idris Wase, who announced this at Tuesday's plenary, says it is to keep to the Green Chamber's commitment to ensure early passage. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali brings us details.
We want to expedite action on it so that we can quickly finish the debate and commit the bill to the various committees so that we can have their report turn in and do justice to it before the end of the year.
Plenary featured the adoption of the resolution to investigate the processes of recruitment, promotion and staff quota as the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. The motion raised by Awaji Nombek and one other House member is tied to allegations of non-compliance with the principles of federal character by the NSCDC.
As reported that the recruitment exercise was done without advertisement, with over 90 employment letters returned to the headquarters from Imo State, as those who were to receive their letters did not show up, and that those stocks were reported to belong to River State indigents.
Committees on Interior, Federal Character and Public Service Matters have been mandated to carry out the investigation by looking into the mentioned processes in the last 10 years. The House also mandated the Committee on Finance to investigate the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission in areas relating to revenue allocation, data collection and verification, and indices used for disbursement to states. The motion moved by Representative Magbila is drawing attention to the formula used for allocation.
Concerned about allegations that certain states unduly influence Grand Fact and the Accountant General of the Federation to their advantage in the provision and utilization of data and computation of indices and the utilization of indices for revenue disbursement, respectively.
5 bills were read the third time on powers, including the bill to establish Service Compact Management Agency, Servicom.
For the effective management, execution and enforcement of Service Compact with citizens, setting, control, implementation and enforcement of Service Charter and standards, the identification and facilitation of resolution of service failures, and enhancement of citizens' service rights and responsibilities in Nigeria and for related matters.
5 bills, among them Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Amendment Bill and Defense Logistics Bill, passed first reading. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
This is NTA Network News. Time for a break. Please stay. Thank you for staying. Let's take a look at health now, as the First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Buhari, has arrived at Bujumbura, capital of Burundi, ahead of high-level forum of African women towards promoting the state of health and nutrition of mothers, children and adolescents in Africa. State House correspondent Aliyu Kabir reports.
On arrival at the Bujumbura International Airport, the First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Buhari, who is the President of the Africa First Ladies Peace Mission, was received by her sister, the Burundian First Lady, who is the Vice President of the mission, Angelina Ndayishimiye, as well as the Nigerian Ambassador to the Republic of Burundi, Elijah Onyegba, and his wife, amid a warm welcome, and proceeded to the presidential villa. While at the State House in Bujumbura, President Evariste Ndayishimiye, alongside his wife Angelina, accorded a special reception in honor of the President of the Africa First Lady's Peace Mission, Aisha Buhari, former First Lady of the United Republic of Tanzania, Salma Kikwete, as well as other delegations from across the continent. While expressing gratitude for honoring the invitation of his wife, the President expressed optimism that the plight of the women and children in Africa, particularly in health and nutrition, will be addressed, giving confidence in the leadership and experience of the First Lady of Nigeria at the apex of the platform of the spouses of the African leaders.
I had to see it before. That's first lady of Burundi, not bring you here so that I can see you in the ambience of joy. And I'm happy to be here to discuss. I thank the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria who accepted to send the First Lady. Very nice.
I want to remind you that my dear sister Aisha Buhari will share strong ties as she is the president of the African First Ladies Peace Mission. They are a vice president.
The President Mission and the First Lady of Nigeria, who is visiting East Africa for the first time, has remained committed towards improving maternal health and nutrition on the continent, particularly the challenges affecting malnourished children in Burundi.
As we are aware, all the First Ladies are the mothers of the various nations, and our aim and goal is to make sure that no child lives with hunger. And we also help the children not to suffer from malnutrition.
In Bujumbura, Burundi, I live NTA.
Meanwhile, the National Agency for Food and Drugs Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has warned against the use of promethazine oral solution and Cofexmalane baby cough syrup, as they have been proven to be unsafe for consumption. The advice became necessary sequel to the deaths of about 66 children in the Gambia after the usage of 4 substandard cough syrups. Haman Jabani reports that NAFDAC said though the products are not in Nigerian markets, citizens should be watchful.
These suspected medical products are promethazine oral solution, Cofexmalane baby cough syrup, Markov baby cough syrup, and Magri and cold syrup.
The product can cause abdominal pain, vomiting, diarrhea, inability to pass urine, headache, altered mental state, and acute kidney injury, which may lead to death. The NAFDAC boss, Professor Mojisola Adeye, said the manufacturer of this product is Made in Pharmaceutical Limited, India, and to date, the manufacturer has not provided guarantee to the World Health Organization on the safety and quality of the product. She said the product authenticity and physical condition should be carefully checked.
We have put appropriate measures in place and have activated our internal surveillance mechanisms to mop up this product from the supply chain pipeline.
The Director General is also calling on the attention of general public to the activities of an impersonator soliciting money for employment and other favors.
This is a security breach. NAFDAC and the Director General will never request for gratification to carry out its mandate.
She said NAFDAC will continue to do everything possible to safeguard Nigerians from substandard products and wholesome food. Hamman Jabani, NTA News.
Treat them as humans first and not by their gender. The take-home message from the International Day of the Girl Child commemorated in Abuja. Momso Daymendata reports that this year's event, organized by the Ministry of Women Affairs and partners, is most unique and the largest ever.
National Center for Women's Development comes alive with children from all over Abuja.
We are powerful, we are strong, and if given the opportunity to rise, we rise high.
It's the International Day of the Girl Child.
I can stand up for my rights. My voice will be heard. There's equality between girls and boys. It can also help in building the society.
This time is not just the girls, but boys also. The aim is to catch them young and make them understand the issue better for the sake of balance.
How many boys do you have in the hall? Do you promise me that you will protect the girl child in your school? Do you promise to be friendly and be good brothers and sisters to them, both at home and in school? God bless you. I'm worried about the girl child because she's a Christian mother and she will give that to both boys and girls. That's why the United Nations has set this special day for the girl child.
Amplifying the voice of the girl children in Nigeria.
The President of the Senate is also represented here.
All issues preventing lasting development have to be addressed.
Our time is now, our ride, our future is the theme for this year.
I've learned how to protect girls and their rights.
In Abuja, Mamso Damien Ati, NTA News.
Many thanks, Mamso. Now let's talk about ICT. Nigeria's digital technological innovations are making waves at the international scene as a startup signs a partnership deal of $10 million and 9 others scale through to semi-finals of the North Star Startup competition taking place at the ongoing Gulf Information Technology Exhibition. ICT correspondent Chimdima Ndubisi attended the GITEX Global Exhibition at the Dubai World Trade Center will give us details.
It's a convergence of innovative technologies, enterprises and markets at the 42nd edition of the Gulf Information Technology Exhibition GITEX Global in Dubai. An exhibition that provides a platform for innovators to showcase solutions in health, education, agriculture, security, entertainment, you name it. More than 5,000 organizations and 90 countries are participating. Nigeria is not a spectator here, but with a spectacular display of 33 startups sponsored by Nigerian government. Private exhibitors are also in the show.
African humanoid, talking about artificial intelligence. This is the level Nigeria has come at this exhibition.
We made our first African humanoid robot, which is the first in Africa, and it's going to be speaking up to 15 languages.
Now everybody knows that Nigerian tech ecosystem is the strongest in Africa, and also globally we are catching up. Unicorn is a big startup that is valued approximately a minimum of $1 billion USD. Out of 7 in Africa, 5 of them originated from Nigeria. We have so many young innovators that are making us proud, and most of them you will discover the total number of citizens being employed. You'll see it's approximately around 150 to 200 per startup.
The focus this year is on emerging trends in artificial intelligence and metaverse. From the Dubai World Trade Center in United Arab Emirates, Chimdima Ndubisi, NTA News.
Back home, the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, and the Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency, NISA, have alerted the public that there is likelihood of more states experiencing floods in the coming days, especially in the north central, southeast, and southwestern states. Director General NIMET, Professor Mansour Bako Matazu, and Director General Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency, NISA, Mr. Clement Nze, gave the indication at the opening ceremony of the workshop on hydrometeorological status and outlook system. The NIMET DG said in the coming days, there would be high-intensity rains, and coupled with the dams being let open, there will be more floods. And back to the National Honours Awards, the Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Malam Mele Kiari, was among the successful Nigerians that marched to the podium to be conferred with the national honors as recognition for selfless and patriotic service to Nigeria. Abubakar Kwanga reports on the man who backed the prestigious honor of the Officer of the Order of the Federal Republic.
The unbundling of Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation and its subsequent unveiling as a commercial entity under Mele Kyari-led management is said to have turned the fortunes of the nation's oil and gas sector around, with 800 billion naira declared in 2018 to 287 billion naira in 2020, while profit after tax realized stood at 674 billion naira, representing 134.8% profit growth despite challenges of the business climate. The GMD made public an audited financial transaction of the company for the first time in 2019, a milestone that experts say further shapes the financial probity and enhanced transparency in the sector. Passage of the Petroleum Industry Bill into Act and the partnership that cleared dispute, which eventually attracted $90 billion contingent liability as new oil production pact signed, came on stream, was yet another breakthrough that is seen to be putting the industry at par with international players. The sector is seen to be blossoming with expansion of retail network and clampdown of oil theft, saving the country from losses of thousands of barrels of crude oil and billions of naira. The latest were discoveries and destructions of illegal refineries, trucks and reservoirs. The 4-kilometer illegal connection line terminal into sea, which had been in operation undetected for 9 years, is another feat the NNPC Limited is proud of. These and many more are recorded under the Mele Kyari leadership, and perhaps the reasons for earning the National Award of Officer of the Order of the Federal Republic, OFR. In Abuja, Abubakar Kwanga, NTA News.
Let's now join Adiola in Lagos for more on the news. Adiola, it's over to you.
Yeah. Now, Lagos State Government has been granted approval to officially commence construction of Lekki International Airport. The federal government approval was presented to the Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu by the Minister of Aviation Hadi Sirika at the ongoing Lagos Economic Summit, otherwise known as Ngbeti Summit. Jesuto Moses reports.
In Civil Aviation Ministry are pleased to issue out this approval to Lagos State, but may it be beneficial to Lagos, to its people, its future, its fortune, to the country and to humanity.
With the conviction that Lagos State has the resources, capacity and exigencies for an additional airport to complement Murtala Mohammed International Airport, the minister handed the approval to the governor.
The rich culture, the tradition, the history, the tourist attraction, the AO festival, and so on and so forth, needs to be connected to the world to continue to be the center of the economy, of the activity of the country Nigeria.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu said the airport, which is designed for 5 billion passengers and cargo's capacity, will boost the socio-economic activities in Lekki environment and Lagos State at large.
The Lagos State Development Plan 2052 is built around 4 critical strategic pillars: a thriving economy, a human-centric city, modern infrastructure, and of course, effective governance. These 4 pillars will be focusing on 20 strategic areas that will drive this very deep ambition.
For the benefit of national growth and nation building, Lagos should not just be treated as a state, but accorded special status as a national asset.
Most of the resolutions to date, I believe we're at 95%, have either been initiated or in progress or have been delivered.
The 2-day summit with the theme Charting the Path to Sustainable Socio-Economic Growth is aimed at finding ways to fund 30-year development plan of the state. In Lagos, Jesuto Moses, NTA News.
In June this year, the World Health Organization released its largest review of world mental health since the turn of the century. The figures are worrisome, and experts are using this year's Global Mental Health Day with the theme Make Mental Health and Well-being for All a Global Priority to chart ways of reducing the numbers. Hingino John Adams tells us more.
It is so easy to conclude in error that those who are in facilities such as the neuropsychiatric hospital receiving treatment or those loose on the streets with all signs of mental derangement are the only ones challenged mentally. Maybe just people that behave abnormal. No, statistics disagree. Data by the World Health Organization (WHO) revealed that in 2019 alone, nearly 1 billion people, including 14% of the world's adolescents, were living with various forms of mental disorders like anxiety, depression, schizophrenia, bipolar, among others. Suicide accounted for more than 1 in 100 deaths, and 58% of suicides occurred before age 50.
Resilience in surmounting adversity. As you all know, all over the world today, there are a lot of events that create adverse conditions. Rather than giving up, there are things you can do to bounce back to health.
In Nigeria, the statistics are also on the high side, as 1 in 4 people is suffering from one form of mental illness.
The way to promote mental health is by empowering individuals to have greater control over their mental health.
As a way of investing in mental health, all 180 WHO member states have signed up the Comprehensive Mental Health Action 2013 to 2030, which commits them to global targets for transforming mental health. In Lagos, Hingino John Adams, NTA News.
We're done from Lagos, but we shall take a break. Remember, you can still follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on the screen for updates. To stay on, the news continues in Abuja when we return.
Glad to have you back. The International Monetary Fund says rising food prices and currency depreciations will continue to affect economies globally, warning that the worst is yet to come if urgent steps are not taken to address debts, inflation, and stability. This was at the presentation of the World Economic Outlook at the annual meetings in Washington, D.C. Leah Katung Babatunde completes the story.
A global recession is looming as the IMF cuts economic projections it made months earlier. Although it expects growth to remain at 3.2% this year, projections for 2023 have been cut from 2.9% to 2.7%. It identified the war between Russia and Ukraine, cost of living, and a slowdown in China as the major drivers of the present global economic challenges.
There are clouds on the horizon, but progress on climate policies, debt resolution, and other targeted global issues will demonstrate that strengthened cooperation can achieve progress for all and help to overcome geoeconomic fragmentation.
Sub-Saharan Africa is also in focus, rising coupled with flawed give a not so favorable prospects.
The higher interest rates, low growth means that 2/3 of the countries in the regions are facing stress or debt distress.
More than a third of the global economy is expected to shrink in 2023, but increasing pressure on prices of commodities, defense sales remain the biggest threat to global recovery. From Washington, D.C., I'm Leah Katung Babatunde, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, says global financial stability risks has increased, riding on the back of rising trend in inflation coupled with uncertainty in the equities market that has been extremely volatile. Head Monetary and Capital Market Department, IMF, Tobias Adrian, said this at the 2022 International Monetary Fund meeting in Washington, D.C. Abolade Salami brings us details.
the global growth projection puts at 2.7% as against the 3.2% growth projected in 2022. The International Monetary Fund says 2023 economic journey is expected to experience a bumpy ride, with major costs tied to global economic shock as a result of the Russia-Ukraine war, volatility in exchange rates, uncertainty in the capital and bond markets, as well as inflationary pressure.
We are supportive of more integration across African countries and of Africa within the broader global economy. We do expect that more trade would be associated with more growth.
In an attempt to curb inflation and retain positive economic outlook, central banks have been advised to consider all necessary parameters before taking the risk of both under and over tightening monetary policy rates.
And so markets are fragile. We've seen vulnerability that we've been building over the last decade plus. This is liquidity mismatch versus financial leverage, user leverage, maturity mismatch. And so that fragility, in some sense, makes the financial risk much more elevated.
The International Monetary Fund noted that investors may further reassess the outlook if inflationary pressure don't abate as quickly as currently anticipated, or if the economic slowdown intensifies. From Washington, D.C., Abolade Salami, NTA News.
Let's now have more business news with Musa Abubakar, who's right here in the studio. Musa.
Thank you, Yuri. The Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment is expediting review of the country's trade policy in line with global best practice. This is in a bid to promote conducive atmosphere and boost trade for socio-economic development. To this end, the Committee on the Review of Nigeria's 2023-2027 trade policy has submitted its draft review to the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Adini Adebayo.
In order to take advantage of this potential $3.4 trillion market, the first step is to instill confidence in traders through the approval and implementation of an up-to-date trade policy. Therefore, an updated trade policy is clearly overdue. We know that the economy has changed drastically since the last trade policy. The bringing of transformation of the Nigerian economy.
The policy, if approved by the Federal Executive Council, will provide immediate opportunities for businesses, reduce poverty, and promote creation of wealth for the development of the country. Oil prices fell about 2% on Tuesday, extending the previous session's almost 2% decline, as recession fears and a flare-up in COVID-19 cases in China raised concerns over global demand. CNBC reports that Brent crude was down 1.5% to $94.71 a barrel. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude dropped 1.7% to $89.57 a barrel. Into capital market, the equities market closed Tuesday's trading session in positive territory. The all-share index climbed 0.45% at 47,565.92 basis points. A total turnover of 125.6 million units of securities valued at 1.9 billion naira were traded in 4,188 deals. Equity capitalization increased to 25.9 trillion naira. Now there's a quick look at business news. The news continues with Erie.
Many thanks, Musa, for that update. And just so you know, adopting modern global trends and ensuring economic sustainability is a focus at the ongoing 52nd conference of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICANN, in Abuja. Nneka Oko was at the opening session of the conference and our reports.
Every year, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICANN, brings together accountants in both public and private practice in Nigeria, as well as leaders from other professional bodies across the globe, to discuss key issues impacting the profession and opportunities for growth. Sustainability, the ICANN president says, encourages entities to responsibly deploy financial, natural, human and social capital for a better, cleaner and prosperous future.
Our economy is not out almost yet. Economic growth post-COVID has accelerated, averaging 3.54% due to persistent low oil production and rising insecurity. Even with the recent modest diversification of the nation's income from the export of crude oil, our export-import dynamics are still unsustainable.
Therefore, more concerted effort is needed in designing and implementing innovative ideas to harness all the resources at the disposal of Nigeria.
A critical phenomenon that had shaped global politics and business operations for decades. President of the International Federation of Accountants, IFAC, acknowledges that more still needs to be done to ingrain sustainability in governance.
Sustainability for me means fairness in society, reducing inequality, effective and efficient public services, and corporations that have a corporate purpose that meets the needs of all stakeholders.
About 6,000 participants are attending this year's conference. In Abuja, Neka Oku, NTA News.
Let's take another quick break. The news continues shortly. Let's have a bit of sports now with Gift George as our guide.
Nigeria's women's under-17 football team, the Flamingos, began its campaign at the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup in India on a losing note as the Nigerian side lost by 1-2 to Germany in its first Group B encounter. The Flamingos would hope to bounce back when it takes on New Zealand on Friday. The new board of the Nigerian Football Federation, NFF, led by Ibrahim Gusso, says it is determined to launch Nigerian football to an enviable height with result-oriented policies and programs. He was speaking after the inaugural meeting of the NFF new board held behind closed doors at the NFF headquarters in Abuja.
We discussed about our agendas for the future of Nigerian football. We discussed extensively.
Still on football, the Under-23 Olympic Eagles team has commenced training session at the main bowl of the Lagos Salami Sports Complex, Ibadan, ahead of the first leg of the Africa Under-23 Cup of Nations qualifiers against the Tanzanian team in Dar es Salaam between October 22 and 23. Kwara State government has promised continued support for the state's football club, Kwara United, as the team prepares to travel to Morocco for the second leg first round of the CAF Confederations Cup. With a 3-1 first leg advantage, the team hopes to qualify for the group stage at the expense of RS Barakan.
It's given them enough to do well in whatever competition they are, the participants rather, and we're hoping to do well for them.
In Taekwondo, the Korean Masters arrived Nigeria for the International Masters course, scheduled to commence from the 12th to the 17th of October 2022 at the National Institute for Sports, NIS, National Stadium, Lagos.
The Federation has made all necessary arrangements. We have more than 150 participants registered across the world.
To Scrabble, Airport Alphas emerged champions of the Mind Games Scrabble Premier League Division A, while Saturn Crowns came out tops in Division B as the league rounded off in Lagos. Airport Alpha completed overall 55 rounds with 41 wins and 14 defeats, while Saturn Crowns claimed Division B title with 43 wins and 12 defeats to gain promotion.
Since 2015 when I won the World Championship, we have been the best Scrabble playing nation.
The sports update, Gift George, NTA News.
And that's a package on NTA Network News tonight. Many thanks for watching, and please remember that rape is a crime. Do the needful. I'm Henry John. Have a good night.